Greetings, natural-loving viewers, and welcome to this week's edition of Planet Earth, Our Loving Home, featuring the first in a two-part series on the Findhorn Eco-Village, a global community that grew from the concept of environmental, social, economic, and spiritual sustainability. In his book, The Magic of Findhorn, author Paul Hawken describes this eco-Eden on Earth as follows. There have been stories in the press and other media about a small community in the north of Scotland called Findhorn, where people talk to plants with amazing results. Stories of vegetable and flower gardens animated by angelic forms. Stories of plants performing incredible feats of growth and endurance. 40-pound cabbages, 8-foot delphiniums, and roses blooming in the snow. All a short distance from the Arctic Circle on a cold, wind-blown peninsula jutting into the North Sea, with its soil as sandy as your local beach.
Hello, my name is Noémie, je viens de France et je suis ici pour faire la semaine l'Experience Week. C'est une très belle semaine, c'est très fort en émotion parce qu'on est toujours là. Et là, on doit choisir dans la semaine un domaine où travailler et j'ai choisi de venir dans les jardins. Parce qu'en France, je travaille dans des jardins et que je suis intéressée pour travailler de manière consciente la terre. Ils appellent Works in Love, travailler avec l'amour. Voilà.
This surreal place, the Findhorn Eco-Village, situated in the Findhorn Bay of Moray, in northeastern Scotland, is a green community emphasizing harmony between human beings and nature. The residents work to create an environment that improves the fundamental quality of life for all. Following the simple principle of not taking away more from the earth than one can give back, such communities strive to reduce their ecological footprint in all aspects of daily life. And to date, the Findhorn village has achieved a footprint that's about half the UK's national average. Even more impressive, a 2007 study by GEN Europe, or the Global Eco-Village Network, in partnership with the Sustainable Development Research Centre, concluded the site had the lowest ever ecological footprint of any community in the industrialised world.
The community is very much about being at peace and co-creation and doing what's good and not doing harm and being open. It's very much about being open. I was a vegan before I came here, and of course the food here is locally grown, organic, so that's also good. It's all and seasonal. So the main principles of good healthy diet are held here also, so it's easy to get at.
Findhorn began in 1962 when Peter and Eileen Caddy and their 3 sons, along with Dorothy McLean, arrived at a caravan park in the seaside village of Findhorn. The group came seeking temporary residency as their employment at a hotel in the nearby town of Forres had come to an end.
So Peter, Eileen and Dorothy, and there were 6 of them living in just this tiny little caravan. And they were waiting and thinking that they will be here just for a short time, and they were just simply waiting for employment, and while they were waiting they were staying here, and they were only living on £8 a week, which wasn't very much money to feed them and feed their children, so they decided to build a garden around them.
For years, Peter, Eileen and Dorothy had followed disciplined spiritual paths and practiced meditation. Thus, following guidance from within, in no time the 3 transformed the previously lifeless, barren, sandy soil of the Findhorn Bay area into vibrant, fertile land.
Eileen was listening to her inner voice, what she called the God within. And Dorothy was able eventually to connect with what she called the nature realms and the nature spirits. And she called it the Deva, for want of a better word, the Devas, where she found that she was able to get in touch with the essence of the plants and the nature kingdom as a whole. And Peter was very much a guy of putting things into practice. So he would talk to Dorothy and he would talk to Eileen and listen to what their guidance was and then try and put that into practice. Peter would ask Dorothy, questions about how much compost should I put in here, or how should I work this soil, and Dorothy would get answers through her inner work. And from that, the garden became a bigger and bigger success.
Word spread quickly about the magic of Findhorn, and people came to join the Caddies and Dorothy in their work. Soon the original group of 6 grew into a small community in the village of Findhorn.
We were growing very, very large vegetables, and people couldn't understand because it's essentially very soily earth. So people did not understand why we could get such good vegetables in such poor earth. Not very soily earth, very sandy earth. This was sand dunes. So that also drew more people here, and then there were some books written about Findhorn. One particular one was called The Magic of Findhorn, which was written by an American author, Paul Hawkins, and that drew a lot of Americans over here and started to become very international. The community then formed a charity, which is now known as the Findhorn Foundation.
When Martin Roche Nishimori, currently manager of the Health and Safety Department at the Eco Village, first heard about this special community, he never thought that it would become his permanent home.
And one day my wife was reading a magazine, and she heard about this place called Findhorn, this magical place called Findhorn. She read the article, it sounded very, very interesting, and she then read the book The Magic of Findhorn, told me all about it. I then read The Magic of Findhorn, and we thought, great, this sounds like a really interesting place, let's go and visit it.
Let's join the jolly residents of Findhorn Eco Village to learn more about their planet-friendly lifestyle. To date, the Findhorn Eco Village has constructed approximately 61 ecological buildings, all of which respect and honor the environment. We were fortunate enough to be invited to the home of Karen Bowles, a member of the communications team at the Eco Village, and learn about many of the community's fascinating green initiatives.
It's about 10 years old. It was the second house that was built on what we call the Field of Dreams, this area here. And it's an eco house basically because it's designed to maximise the passive solar heat gain. So you can see there's lots and lots of glass on the southern side here. We've got a big conservatory that wraps around the front of the house, and in summer or even in winter we actually manage the heat coming into the house by opening or closing the doors. In summer it can actually get too hot, but on a day like today when there's sun we actually heat the house by the passive solar heat gain that comes from the conservatory. The walls are insulated with it's like a recycled newspaper that's gone into a pulp and then pumped into the walls. So at the time that this house was built it was much more insulation than was the code in Scotland. The code now is about the kind of insulation that we use here. The new development that's happening over there will actually have 500 millimetres of insulation in all their walls, so they basically get down to being carbon neutral. The other thing that's great about the house is we have what's called a breathing wall system. In such a humid climate you can get so much build-up of moisture actually inside the house. So it works like a Gore-Tex jacket where your moisture comes in and moisture goes out. So it's actually a really incredibly healthy place to live in because the house actually breathes. The moisture level kind of gets equalised, and we have special breathing paint so that again the moisture can actually go through the walls.
Each household also grows its own organic vegetables and fruit.
We have some lettuce seedlings that we will be putting into the cold frame, and it will go back on the garden over there, and so it extends the time that we can grow lettuce, and then we'll start putting plants in for next year. So this year we actually grew a lot of pumpkins in there, so we have some really beautiful spaghetti squash that we'll eat over the winter that grew in our cold frame. So you can see lots of other things growing in the garden. We've got a lot of cabbages, we've got the Brussels sprouts. You can see they're just the last of our raspberries on the raspberry canes through here, which is pretty amazing. You know, it's November and we've still got a few raspberries, we've still got a few strawberries coming through, we've got tons of leeks. and sorrel and lots of herbs and things like that. So we're incredibly fortunate. We've still got carrots and celeriac to harvest. We've got lots of potatoes, and this is just in our little back garden.
The people of Findhorn live simple lives in the bosom of nature. Martin spoke about how Findhorn transformed his life.
I've noticed there's a lot of release, a lot of dropping off that's happened to me since coming here. Before, I loved the idea of being, spiritual. And now it's more just mundane, day-to-day, everyday thing that's important. And it's kind of dropped away, these other desires. I think that's made me a much more peaceful person. I notice how things don't bother me, and I notice how I feel more loving and more caring. If you like, my lenses have changed. I see the world very, very differently now.
Blessed viewers, please join us again next Wednesday for Planet Earth, Our Loving Home, and the concluding episode on the Findhorn Eco-Village, when we'll learn more about the inspiring Findhorn community and its earth-friendly architecture and facilities. For more information on the Findhorn Eco-Village, please visit www.ecovillagefindhorn.com. Find out more about the Findhorn Foundation at www.findhorn.org. Treasured viewers, thank you for your company on today's program. May our lives be forever greened with nature's abundance and love.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/PE